That's my dog right there. What did he just become? What did he just become?
What did you do? We won. So this is how it is.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's TY, and we're back with another episode of TY's TV Corner Supernatural Edition. Listen, I don't want to waste too much time. You already saw my first reaction video. That's one of four. Not gonna lie, in the last one, I might have shed a tear. So you'll get to see that. So throughout this portion of the video, I will cut to those ones as well. It's pretty heart-wrenching. Heart-wrenching what happens. So, in a good way. We'll get to it, though. We're not going to waste too much time. So this is Supernatural, episode 15 by 19. So season 15, episode 19, Inherit the Earth. This is our reaction, our review, and our breakdown video. Supernatural Edition. Welcome to the Pop Culture Corner presents TY's TV Time. Alrighty, so like I said, not going to waste too much time. The episode starts with us getting a glimpse into the world that is taking place after Chuck kind of gets rid of everybody. We hit New York, we hit Tokyo, no one's around. That's saying a lot, right? Because those areas are pretty heavy populated. Dean ends up coming and he finds Sam and Jack. They ask the burning question, where is Cass? Dean retorts with, he saved me. In an all-time if that wasn't Winchester, by the way, if that's not the Winchester MO, then there's nothing is. So Cass sacrifices himself for the greater good and saves Dean. So Dean explains kind of what happened, and he explains Cass is gone. There's a touching moment. Jack's very sad. That's like Jack's dad. That's like impromptu dad. They all are. All three of them are. And, Sam, Dean, and Cass. So that was pretty moving. Started the episode off with the the severity was there. And I thought that was great, right? The severity was there. Just Cass is gone. So what do we do at this point, right? Our one of our big hitters is now off the table. So like I said, we flash through the world. It's empty like we suspected. Dean finds Jack and Sam. Dean tells them, about Cass. We do get a kind of a cool shot. So Dean, Sam, and Jack walk into a bar. And it looks like, everyone's glasses are, everyone, it's like they just disappeared, right? Because they did. And we get one of a really cool shot that was very Infinity War-esque. I really liked it. So they look at the TV, and there's a football game. Except the camera's still on, and there's no football being played. The quarters are run out. The score is the same. You know what I mean? It's just an empty picture. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really unique. So props to Supernatural. As always, you're always finding creative ways to do things. I thought that was really awesome, and it was original. And it definitely highlighted what was going on really well. Obviously, they flashed into different spots, and there was no one there, and that kind of highlights what's going on as well. But this definitely put the pin in it, if you will. All right, so meanwhile, Jack is still making plants die as he's walking by them. And I think this is to show that he's definitely powerless. You'll see later on in the episode why I'm saying that. I think it's, it's meant to point it out. It's meant to show that Jack is very far from okay at this point. This whole thing is really a first for Supernatural, and it's really, really refreshing. I thought it was really, really refreshing to see. Also, this is a clever way to kind of get around the filming restrictions. You don't need a lot of people in the scene. You don't need hordes of zombies or anything like that. Granted, like, the film crews and stuff are all still there, and, like, there's obviously still restrictions that you need to abide by, but I thought this was a clever way to play into it enough where you don't need a lot of people in the scenes to deliver what you wanted to deliver in the beginning. Obviously, we're not getting the same exact ending as as they wrote out originally, but I think this is doing a good job of what it needs to do, given the circumstance. Honestly, I would have been okay if we had to wait till next year to see the last 7 episodes or whatever. I wouldn't have minded because, then we could have got the original ending. Everything else is getting pushed back. Supernatural, you didn't have to. I get it, though, because the boys, Jensen's going to be on the boys, and Jared's got Walker, which, but I'll still watch it. So I get it, right? We need to get this done. They're finally in a world without monsters, which I thought was pretty funny, because this is what they've wanted the whole time, right? A world free of monsters and creatures, and they got it. They got it right now, except they also have a world without their loved ones, without everybody. So obviously that's an issue, and if we know anything about the boys, they're going to call up God, and that's what happens next. So next they summon God to admit defeat and kind of give up. Chuck, or God, I should say, he kind of denies them right away, right? He's like, I kind of like this story now, right? So you guys are clamoring away at a world, you're rotting, if you will, in a world with no one to save. Like, that's the biggest punch in the mouth for the Winchesters, right? Everyone's gone. There's no one to save. And there's no monsters to kill either. It's an empty world with just them living in the pain of knowing that, this is their fault. So God definitely threw it back at them. Next scene we get, Dean's hammered, passed out on the ground. And this usually happens after they lose, right? This usually happens when both boys lose hope. That's when it's about to climax. When both boys are down and out. And that's what we get in this next scene. We also get Jack feeling something weird, as he puts it. A presence. A sweet little explanation montage later, and we start heading to our destination. We get to a gas station. Dean finds a dog, and we all know that Dean doesn't really care for dogs. I remember, was it Dog Dean's Afternoon, I believe is the episode, that's like the closest thing we got to him, like, interacting with the dog. But we know that he doesn't like them too much, and for him to see a dog and, like, be super excited, and he gets attached really quickly to it, that's saying something. As soon as he gets attached to it, Chuck snaps the dog away. Gone. And, like, you can just see it in Dean's eyes, the pain. Because as soon as he finds something to be happy about, Chuck takes it away. They reach the next scene as they reach the place where Jack is getting this feeling from. And it's kind of like a church. It's St. Michael's Church. And they go in. There's a bunch of candles, books open, blah, 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 blah. And you get a back shot of somebody, and you can clearly tell it's Adam / Michael, because everyone's got a double inside them, right? Chuck and Amara, Michael, Adam, everyone's got a double. So it's Adam, Michael, except it's not Adam. Apparently Adam got rapture. So Michael says the word rapture, and I think that takes away, that separates it separates it from Infinity War and changes it, right? I thought that was a good call out, good way to not be doing the same thing, right? You call it the rapture. So he calls it the rapture, and he says that Adam got raptured as long as, as well as everyone else. So that's a way that they explain that. So Michael explains some stuff, and then Michael explains something that's really key as well. So apparently Michael is the reason that humans worship God. He's the reason that they know about God. So after God left, Michael knew that he was going to come back and sought for the people of the world to kind of build an image of God. So he kind of is the reason for all that. So he explains that and then asks the boys. He tells the boys basically that he's on their side, whatever he can do to help. So what do they need from him? They try to see if Michael can read God's death book, which honestly would make sense, right, if he could. However, he can't. He tries, but something's not right. You can see it in his face, right? He's got that like he's up to no good look, where he doesn't say. I almost thought when he tries to read the book, he puts his hand over it and does some archangel bullshit, and summons like his power, blah blah blah. Afterwards, I almost thought they were gonna be like the what happened was that he did read it and he didn't tell the boys because he says, no, I couldn't do it, sorry guys. I thought that that's what happened. However, that's not exactly what happens, and we'll get to that point again. So while that's happening, Cass calls. Or no, after that happens, Cass calls, right? And this threw me for a loop. I started yelling a little bit. Cass calls. And it's his voice on the phone. But something's not right. Dean, he tells Dean to let him inside, that he's hurt. Dean runs up the stairs to let him in. Bro, it's Lucifer. Peekaboo. It's Lucifer. Like, really weird. And so Dean shuts the door really quickly, turns around. Obviously, Lucifer's in the bunker now. I thought it, kind of jump scared me a little bit, too. So Lucifer tells the boys the empty sent him. God, Lucifer, you're such a... Never mind. We'll get there. We'll get to everything today. He tells them that the empty sent Lucifer to get the God book, God's death book, and help the boys, kind of handle the situation with Chuck. The boys don't really want to be a part of any team-ups with him. However, he does snap a Reaper into the shot, and she's chained up. Her name's Benny. He stabs her. We know that the Reaper that dies after death, immediately after death, becomes death. So as soon as the Reaper showed up, I knew that was happening. So he stabs the Reaper as like a present to the boys, and then Benny turns into death, and they get her to read the book. She comes out. She says, hey, asshats, I read the book. I know how he dies. Which, in theory, now looking back on it, is a little weird. So she starts to tell the boys, like, how to defeat Chuck. And Lucy has to go and ruin everything. All of a sudden, the Reaper, crumbles. The book jumps across the table into Lucifer's hands. And then we find out that the Empty did not send Lucifer. Chuck did, of course. I didn't see it coming, to be honest. I didn't. I'll be honest. I did not see it coming. However, it's Lucifer. And the reason I didn't see it coming is because of God and Lucifer's relationship. But that's a good way to keep it fresh, guys. Supernatural, good job. Kept it fresh. It kept me on my toes. If anything, I thought Michael was with God. Yeah, I know. So the book is now in Lucifer's hands. And a scuffle breaks out, right? The boys come after him, but Michael goes after him, blah, blah, blah. Things start popping off. He flings the boys. Bam! Michael takes a swing at him. Bam! And then, he has the book, gives his little, montage, looks at Jack, and now he's asking Jack to come with him and team up with Grandpa. And then, again, supernatural fashion. Michael, right behind Lucifer. Lucifer turns around. I don't know what blade he was holding. I couldn't tell. I think it was just the regular, the enchanted blade. However, it lit up like a red. I thought, or at least I'm kind of colorblind, so I don't necessarily I didn't see 100%. Stabs Lucy. Lucy, I thought was just gonna take that hit, right? Rip that out and go. However, that's not what happened. Lucifer dies, and Michael seems to have killed him, right? Michael seems to be a little still, because the next thing that we see is Michael and Dean have a little conversation. Michael says, "Oh, I haven't been in a battle like that in a while," which is wrong, I guess, right? That's wrong, technically, right? Because the battle before, yeah, okay, well, I guess we won't hang up on that. However, Supernatural, come on. So we won't hang up on that too much. But tells Dean that he hasn't been in a battle like that. And now I'm really suspect of Michael. Because, and I'm not saying this because I, now have seen the whole episode and, I knew it the whole time. You'll see it in my reaction video a little bit later. I know something is now up with Michael. It just doesn't fit. Because he gets really, he's like, oh, well, God reached out to Lucifer, but he didn't reach out to me. That's weird. And Dean's like, well, did you want him to? And Michael's like, no. I'm like, nah, something's up here. Something's up. But the book, so Lucifer dies. When he dies, the book slides down, but it's still open. The reason that we couldn't get to try to read it before was because it was locked shut with some spell or warding, whatever, etc. Now it's open. So Sam grabs the Book of the Damned to try to decipher the ending of God's story and hopefully get something or some spell or something to help them defeat God and end God. So Sam comes back in. We've got a spell now. We got the spell. So apparently for this spell you need to do it at a certain angle or a certain time of day, or so, like they said, the angle of the sun needs to be a certain way. They need the book, some other stuff. So I don't know. So they didn't really get into the spell too much, but they definitely need to be out. Not. I still feel like Michael's up to something.
What's wrong?
The way he got jealous of Lucifer. They start working on the spell, and they get it going. Chuck! Chuck's behind them. And Chuck's got some different kind of fire in his eyes. This is where I'm going to cut. Chuck just showed up. Through the boys. Alright, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. We knew it, right? We knew it. We knew something was up with Michael. I knew it! I knew you motherfucker! Oh, I hate you so much sometimes. Oh, I knew it! Especially archangels. I hate them. They're such dicks. So, basically what happened was Chuck and God and Michael meet for the first time in centuries. I'm assuming, at least. However, that's not the case. It still feels like to me something's up at this point. Bang, I knew it. God introduces himself by saying, "Thank you for the heads up, Michael." God then kills Michael, though, in a twist of fate, right? God kills him for siding with the Winchesters in the first place. So, I didn't see that coming necessarily, but he does some different kind of God kill to Michael and cracks him apart. I thought it looked really visually aesthetic and really, really cool. So good job again. So what happens next, and you can hear it in the reaction. So God gets his hands dirty for the first time in this whole show. 15 seasons. Well, more like 5 or 6 seasons of God at this point, but a longer time than that with Chuck. God gets his hands dirty for the first time. He had his chance to do it when he had Sam, tied up at the casino. However, he let Irene do it, or he made Irene do it, I should say, because he couldn't stomach it. However, God is finally pissed and past that point. So he's about to snap them away, and he stops, and he rolls up his sleeves, and he's like, you know what? I can get my hands dirty. And he lays. And I was just thinking before this that, like, the action of these late episodes, they're, like, the action hasn't been too great. Or at least, and that's fine, right? The restrictions they've been put in place. You can't be within certain feet of this person, that person. And I get it, right? They're doing the best they can. However, the action hasn't been the greatest. Like, we can all admit that. That's not a bad thing to say. Like, the story's there, the drama's there, the severity's there. It's just the action's not. So, God lays one of the holiest beatings on the Winchesters that's ever been handed to them. Bro, I'm talking breaking bones, bomb, 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 hitting them left and right, breaking this arm, or I thought so, breaking this Sam's arm, breaking Dean's arm, breaking Dean's legs, stomps on it, keeps telling him, stay down, stay down, stay down. He's hitting them over and over again. Bam, 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 bam. Over, stay down, bam, bam, bam. They keep getting up. They keep getting up. Bam, bam, bam. He puts them down. Keep getting up. Bam, bam, bam. And so on and so forth. This last time, though, they get up. Sam helps Dean up, right? Like the great brothers they are. And God's like, why are you smiling? Why you keep smiling? You know, I'm putting a holy beat down on you. You got nothing. You lost. He didn't say all that. I said that. But that's what he's trying to basically say. So they turn around with the response like, ha ha, you lost. God turns around. Jack's there. And God tries to snap Jack away, but he can't. He can't do it. He can't do it. He can't do it. He can't do it. God's lost his mojo? What? Someone picked it up because Jack's not killing plants no more. He's not killing plants. And grabs a hold of Chuck. Jack grabs a hold of Chuck and like does something, right? Like a transfer of power because God's essence or grace shines out and like enters Jack, or not enters Jack, but like it definitely leaves Chuck. So something happened there, right? So, but now I thought he was dead. He's not, by the way. The boys then look at Jack and they're like, you know, good, everything good. And it's, you know, Chuck now is on the ground. He looks up at them, you know, kind of gives like a I lost speech, and he's like, are you guys going to kill me? Like, you know, this is why I liked you, trying to get himself out of it. And, you know, they don't kill him. They don't. But they tell him that he's just a regular human now. So God is not God anymore. Chuck is not God anymore, I should say. He is a regular human, and they tell him that you're going to get old, you're going to get sick, and you're going to die, and no one's going to know who you are. And I think that is probably the biggest L that Chuck could take. Being Chuck, like the writer that he is, no one knowing who he is, or no one caring, and him getting sick and old, that's the biggest slap in the face you can give him. And, you know, that's it. Like, that's really the end of the episode, guys. However, the next scene, so you had to think, right? Jack is now God, so to say, like, so to speak, because Jack has all this power now. And they look at Jack, and they go to like the town, and they're walking, and like, you know, they look at him, and they're like, can you do it? So you had to think that like this is the Hulk moment of Infinity War, where Hulk brings everyone back. That's that happily ever after. So we got a shot in the trailer last week for the finale where we see Dean eating pie with Sam. And it looked very similar to the end of this episode. However, we didn't get that shot necessarily. So Jack brings everyone back. They do the cut through the world. You know, people start appearing again. Everyone's happy. Sam and Dean are happy. Jack's happy. Jack starts getting like kind of weird about it though. At least I thought, right? He doesn't want to go back with the boys to the bunker. He's like God now, so he wants to be everywhere. He says he's not going to be hands-on. So I don't I have a couple questions that I want to ask everyone out there. So does that mean that, like, I hope Jack doesn't get rid of all the monsters, because Jack is God now. I hope he doesn't get rid of all the monsters and all the reason for Sam and Dean to be there, right? Because, I mean, we basically got, and we had said this, the past 3 or 4 episodes, that today's episode or tonight's episode was the season finale. Next week will be the 2-hour series finale, but the season really ended here. And next week will be kind of tying up loose ends and dealing with all that kind of, the goodbyes and stuff like that for now. So we were definitely right about that. God is definitely not a threat anymore. So whatever comes next week is not part of, the God storyline, or at least Chuck God storyline. But so is Jack. So Jack says he's not going to be hands-on, though. So I think that gives us the clue that he's not going to change much. But if he wanted to, he could get rid of all the monsters and give Sam and Dean that happily ever after. He tells them that he's not, Dean makes a joke. He's like, oh, this is numero uno here. Come back with us. Come back to the bunker. And Jack says no and kind of shrugs it off and says that he's going to go. But I have a question that if he brought everyone back, then why couldn't he have brought Cass back? I just didn't. Is the empty off limits? But clearly it isn't, because God brought Lucifer back from the empty. So I don't know. If they can clear that up next week, that'd be great. I heard, rumor has it that Castiel will be in the last episode. So in what form or fashion, I do not know. But the episode ends with this touching tribute, and that's where I shed my tear. And you'll see that at the end of this video. It goes through all the seasons, all the big bad fights. It goes through everything, like little things. And honestly, it choked me up a little bit, because the last scene in this episode, like for episode reasons, was Sam and Dean at the table drinking a beer at the end of a case, or at the end of a mission, or at the end of a season, and they get up with like a happy smile, like they won finally, and they get in the Impala and start driving. I don't know if that's, but whatever. And then this montage goes through and plays through, and honestly, it got to me, because like I said, this the show's been with me for so long. It's been with me for more than half of my life. I battled my own demons. This show has got me through a lot of the hardships in my life. When something goes wrong, I like to watch Supernatural. I am working on trying to get someone from the show to come on to the podcast. I think that would be great for me, and great for you guys. So I'm going to keep working on that. Just because Supernatural is over doesn't mean that we can't have Jensen or Jared on, or Misha on, and kind of talk shop with them about Supernatural, because I don't think Supernatural truly will ever end. And I don't think, so there were some rumors floating around that, Sam and Dean are going to die at the end of the series or the season. And that didn't happen. I don't think they would do that. I just don't. I know Wayward Winchester, that channel, thought that they were going to die. Clearly that's not the case. Clearly that's not what happened. So guys, this episode I am going to give an 8.9 out of 10. Just overall, I'm going to use my curse language. This was a fucking amazing episode. This was an amazing season finale. This was everything I wanted. We got some action. We got some drama. Boys happy. Like, who would have thought that this is where we'd be right now? I did not think that we were going to end on a happy note today. I'm super glad that we did, because I didn't want to have to wait a week to kind of know that the boys were going to be okay. This is amazing. This is amazing. Like, this is so great. It's very sad that the show is ending, but I'm glad we're doing it the right way. If you guys are new to the channel, please, just because Supernatural is ending, we're going to be doing episodes like this all the time. I'll be constantly bringing back Supernatural to do, revamps, whatever. Talk about all, the 14 seasons that I wasn't doing the show, like doing the podcast or the segments on YouTube. We could do it all over again if you'd like. Review each episode, whatever you guys want. Also, currently, right now, we're raising money for suicide prevention. That ties in. It's for our Snyder Cut expose. However, it does tie into the Supernatural Always Keep Fighting mottos and mental illness, because mental illness causes people to commit suicide. So, guys, if you're watching this, please message me or on Facebook. All the links are below in the description, as well as you can email me at pop.culturecorner2020@gmail.com. We're raising money for suicide prevention and awareness for our Snyder Cut expose, and all of the proceeds will go to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We've raised a bit of money already, but we're trying to reach a certain goal of $1,000. So if you guys can help out with a little or as much as you can, we really, really do appreciate it. If you want to learn more on how to save a life or how to help someone, please feel free to reach out and we can talk about that. To anyone who does donate, we'll be announcing all your names. We won't give amounts of money you donated because it doesn't matter whether it's $1 or 20 or 100, as long as you help. So we'll be announcing everyone's name, and we'll pick one person to come on the show, maybe to talk Supernatural with me. I think that'll be cool. Join us this Sunday. We're gonna have Sean O'Connell on the podcast as part of our Snyder Cut expose. We're really excited about it. The following week we'll have the Nerd Queens, and the week after that will be Ray Porter Darkseid. I can't stress this enough, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who watches this. Last week's episode was by far our best episode as far as viewers, and I'm hoping that we get to there this week as well. I think this is a much better episode. I didn't say as much. I noticed that I did last week a lot. I was baffled, so I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. That's, every subscriber helps. Everything helps, guys. I know it's a different setting behind me. We have the studio set up for Snyder Cut month, so no green screen. So we probably won't be doing a lot of video cuts either to Supernatural videos, simply because there's not a lot available yet due to the episode just airing. We'll try as best we can. However, if you're returning to the channel as well, thank you as always. Thank you for watching my TY's TV time. I love you. If no one told you today, I appreciate you. If you need anything, feel free to reach out. I'm always here to talk. Always keep fighting, guys. Always keep fighting. I love you.